Hey everyone, welcome back and thank you so much for joining us today. I'm so excited because not only are we clearly not in our studio, but we have an amazing guest today, founder and CEO of HelloPrenup.com, Julia Rodgers, but also you guys know my other favorite person to collaborate with, my husband, Jason. And we get to put this content all over Up and Adam. So not only can you watch this on Up and Adam Channel 1, Channel 2, our members only, listen to it on the podcast, but you can also check it out on upandadamlive.com. But before we get in, you guys know how this works. If you haven't already, go ahead, smash that like button. If you're not subscribed, get subscribed. Don't forget to hit that notification bell, and I think we can jump right in.
Let's jump right in.
All right.
Hey, first of all, though, well, I want to welcome Julia too, because I'm so excited to, first of all, to meet you, because I think it's like almost serendipitous that your team reached out a couple of months ago. Like, hey, we're Hello Prenup. We'd love to collaborate. And I turned to Adam and I'm like, we used Hello Prenup for our prenup.
As if like I didn't know that though.
I'm so honored. It's amazing.
And just the fact that you love Bravo.
Yeah.
It just makes this like 10,000 times better. It's so fun.
You know what's funny about that too is sometimes we get a lot of spam, and Jason has conditioned me to not fall for everything, because there was one time where somebody was like, we would love for you to do this Nike ad. And I said, oh my God, Jason, Nike. And then he's like, check the email that it's being sent from. It says CZ at the end. I'm like, no, you're being scammed. So when Hello Prenup came up, I was like, it's a scam, like just spam. And Jason's like, this one's not a scam.
It's real.
When I jumped on the phone with your team and then finally I got to speak with you, I'm like, oh my God, I love these ladies.
Yeah.
They're badasses. And I was saying this earlier before we started, you guys. Jason and I always surround ourselves with badass, like power women. Emily D. Baker, #1 legal badass commentator on YouTube. And now Julia Rodgers, badass CEO, founder of Hello Prenup, which is the #1 thing I'm always preaching to you guys. The thing that I like talk about the most. So
well, thank you guys so much for having me on today. This is really fun.
This is going to be fun. And we just did Julia's podcast as well. So that was fun because we really dived into Jason and I's journey, getting married, why we got a prenup, what that means for us. And you had really great, like, detailed questions. But then I wanted to pick your brain on, like, the Bravo world.
Let's do it. Yeah. I can't wait.
Hey, before we jump in, though, we have this amazing bottle of mezcal. I like to have a little drink. I used to do this show called The After Party. Okay. Right after Vanderpump Rules, and we were just smashed. We'd make drinks and just like go on and like have so much fun. So I always like to have like a cocktail. But Abe and Aaron Leachy, who own Mezcalum from the Real Housewives of New York, sent over a beautiful bottle of mezcal. This is my favorite. It's so good. It's so smooth. And I love their story behind it. You guys can go find it at mezcalum.com. We'll have it in the description below. It's just so smooth and so good. And their story, just everything that they put into it, and the artwork, the branding, it's all on the website. It's so good. You guys gotta check it out.
I was gonna say the branding is like really spot on, but also the one thing that I want to say about the Mezcalum is my family. I always say this: we're like from Florida, so they're more like Bud Light, Michelob Ultra, not tequila, mezcal, nothing like that. And if they do, they always add something into it. Well, today we did, guys, soda water, because it's still early. But you can drink this straight, and that's how you know a good tequila or a good mezcal is when you can just drink it straight. It could be warm, and I know that doesn't sound great, but if it's a good one, I just bit my tongue. If it's a good one, you can do it.
What's crazy about it too is it's super smooth, and you have to have a really like a good palate. Like mezcal is very specific. Not everybody likes mezcal. It's very smoky. Yeah. It's just so smooth, and I just giving the biggest shout out because like with some of these Housewives brands and stuff like that, sometimes they like slap their name on something. Yeah. This has actually been created from the ground up, and that's why we had to have it today. So I want to cheers because we're so excited to meet you. We're so excited to have you on the show.
Cheers. Thank you guys for having me.
Let's knock this out of the park and talk some Bravo-ish.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So.
It's great.
No,
it's so good.
I'm like holding this.
Yeah. Okay.
And I love Aaron too, so I'm super excited about this.
I love a theme, so if you're not putting it down, neither am I. All right. So I don't know how much time we have, but there are so many
Yeah.
different couples. You have to think about it. We have over 200 Bravo celebrities, right? So somebody's always going through a divorce or a separation, or they're getting married.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. There's always something shifting. Now, as of today, some of the biggest headlines and the biggest downfalls of these marriages that we're watching play out on TV that are, plastered all over like Page Six, everywhere.
I feel like every day there's a new divorce, there's a new separation, there's a new.
I just want to pick your brain on it because you're the expert.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start with Scheana Shay and Brock Davies, right? So Jason and I are friends with Scheana and Brock. We know Scheana and Brock. We hosted Scheana's live show, and Scheana got me my job at SUR. And I was actually friends with her when she was married to her last husband, Mike.
Yes.
Technically, you guys, I just want to say this really quick, and I'm not being shady to Scheana because I love Scheana, but everybody was invited to this wedding, and then she invited all of the SUR bussers and servers and stuff to come and set up the tables and chairs and bars and tents and stuff. And then somebody ended up leaving and not being able to help out, set up the chairs and whatever. And she was like, okay, Adam, I have an opening for you to come to my wedding. I just need you to be there 2 hours early and set up the chairs. And I was like, girl, no.
We just started dating, I think.
Yes. Yeah. We just started dating. I was living in downtown, and I was like, I'm not setting up chairs. So I didn't go to the wedding. But lo and behold.
Did you catch the next one?
No. Okay. No, I didn't get invited.
Maybe the one after this.
I didn't get it. No. I didn't get invited. D-bag. I didn't get invited to Mexico, but it's probably because I skipped out on Malibu or wherever. But at the end of the day, Scheana did not have a prenup with Mike, right? And he really took her to the bank. And this, thank God for her, it was the early days of Vanderpump Rules. Only the first 2 seasons. She was still making money, but not the same kind of money that she was making when she met Brock.
Yeah.
So she got a lot smarter throughout the process, right? When she got married to Brock, she implemented a prenup.
Good.
Smart.
That's what I like to hear.
She's like, you're not going to take me to the bank, which I love.
Yeah.
I'm always preaching this. But now I guess my question is, the prenup is clearly designed to protect her. Is there anything that changes now that she has put out her memoir that comes out July 22nd, My Good Side? Is there anything that changes that can affect that, with her being open about the infidelity that he had, him cheating on her when she was pregnant with her baby? I guess not really, right? Because she's the one who implemented the prenup. So she really protected herself.
Hopefully in her prenup, she specified that all premarital or separate property remains separate, and any appreciation on that property remains separate. And an example of that for Scheana could be her brand, right? She may have it incorporated in some way, so it effectively acts as a business, and she could keep that as separate. So if her book that's being published, which I assume is going to sell really well and make a lot of money, if her book is under that brand, then that is protected. Now, what you're talking about with the infidelity, which I understand that he cheated on her while she was pregnant. Do I have that right?
Yeah.
It sounds really terrible.
It's fucked up.
But
terrible.
And I want to add this to it too.
Horrible.
And Brock, I'm not going in on you, man. But after he cheated on her while she was pregnant, she came out. And this is the one thing that I hate seeing Scheana do to herself. And I can't understand because I'm not a parent. I think she's trying to protect her daughter, her family.
Yeah.
This little unit, which I would kill for mine. So I understand that aspect of it. But listening to her justify it, she said, listen, he lost custody of his other 2 children in Australia. They're being raised by another man. She paid up his child support, the back child support and everything. He had a domestic violence dispute with his ex in Australia. He slapped her or whatever, got in trouble. Then came to America, got himself involved in F45 gyms, was trying to change his life, met Scheana. Scheana said the reason he cheated on her was because he thought he was not a good father to the first 2. So he was starting to spiral, thinking he was going to mess up again and do it again. So he self-sabotaged himself. And I thought in my head, I'm like, girl, give yourself some credit. Have some Scheana is a badass. And that's what I love about her. There are elements of her that she really is this badass and at times a boss, It's don't sit there and justify somebody treating you like shit and saying, oh, well, it's because he's done it before, so he was self-sabotaging, and that's why he went out to San Diego and slept with this
You
woman.
can't make excuses for that.
You cannot make excuses.
Yeah.
And he did it once. He's going to do it again.
Really, you think that? Do you believe once a cheater, always a cheater?
I believe that.
Do you?
Yeah.
I do believe there's a pattern to it. There's like a weird pathology to cheating. And I also think that she has a daughter.
Yeah.
She needs to show her daughter how you should be treated in a relationship. Like, kids are watching. So I think, I mean, I have a 5-year-old daughter, right? So it's something that is really near and dear to my heart. And I think that she needs to model the behavior that she wants her daughter to live in the future. And by staying with him, I don't know.
Yeah. So,
but also like, I mean, just picking your brain. Sorry, I know we're getting into the legal aspect of it. But if you had, I mean, would you want to put this in a book where your daughter could read that later? If it's something you've already worked through in a relationship? Because this is a conversation I had with Adam. Like, I get it. You need to sell a book, you need to have stories and stuff to sell the book. It needs to be interesting. It needs to be spicy so we can get that New York Times bestseller, right? I just don't think if you've worked through it, I wouldn't want my daughter to read that.
Well,
it's almost like you're throwing your husband under the bus.
No, but she said she was taking control of the narrative in case the other woman eventually one day comes out and tries telling the story before her. But getting back to the prenup aspect of it, does any of this affect her if she did want to exit? Like, what could she have done in a prenup to protect herself?
And what can you put into a prenup to protect yourself from something like that?
Shit like this.
For sure. So obviously keeping the assets separate, right? So Scheana built this career. Like I said, she probably has a lot of this under some type of corporate structure. And that should all remain separate because when she's selling this book, she's going to be making more money during the course of her marriage. She lives in California, which is a community property state, which effectively states that without a prenup, everything you earn during the marriage is community property. That should be split 50-50 in the event of a divorce. So hopefully her prenup protects her in that way. But also she could have included an infidelity clause. And although infidelity clauses in California generally are not enforced, right? Judges don't love them. People still include them. Why do they include them? Because it's just as much an emotional document as it is a legal one, right? So it's setting that tone. We do not condone cheating in this relationship, and you define cheating really clearly in this clause. And so it ensures that both parties are on the same page when they're in the marriage with respect to cheating. And by the way, if you violate that clause, the penalty is financial, right? So I don't know how much money Brock makes, but there could be something substantial enough that would, it would hurt. You can also include a confidentiality clause. So this is something a lot of celebrities do, where it will state if you do get divorced, you cannot disparage each other on social media, you can't disclose private details. All of that is really important for someone like Scheana, who especially, I mean, if she gets divorced from this guy, he doesn't sound like an angel, right? And she doesn't probably know what's going to happen. So that's what I would have recommended for her prenup.
I have to say, because we have all of this in our prenup.
Yeah.
And this was so
Thank
easy.
you to HelloPrenup. We have a $30,000 cheating clause. So if you ever catch somebody out here in these streets, I'm just saying.
But also
Thank you,
afterwards,
HelloPrenup.
like a non-disparagement, like you said, like we can't go on social media and like
We have a social media
attack.
clause. Thank you, HelloPrenup.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was so easy. And I got to talk about HelloPrenup. I mean, obviously, we're your biggest cheerleaders today. We're so happy.
I feel like I'm like a Dallas Cowboys cheerleader.
I know.
I'm on
for
Netflix.
HelloPrenup.
Yeah.
And this is I don't know.
And you look amazing.
Hey, thank you.
We'll take it.
No, but it's just so easy to do. Like when you log in, I don't know what kind of things you guys were even thinking. It's one partner goes through like a list of questions and kind of puts down what they want, and then the other partner does the same thing, and something kind of, I don't know how you tie it all together, but it just works so well. And I didn't know there were so many things like a non-disparagement or an infidelity clause. I didn't know these things existed.
Yeah.
And we were so excited to do that.
You know what's so funny? Just to give you guys a little context too, the reason that, we're here and having this conversation is Jason and I, before we got married, we've been together for 11 years, and we decided to get a prenup. I was pushing that for a long time. Jason was very reluctant. I think Jason was like that old school Teresa Giudice mindset of like,
I was,
well, you're already setting the tone for a divorce. And I'm like, yeah, get with it. No. You don't need a divorce if we don't have a prenup, because without a prenup, I ain't marrying you. So that's kind of how the conversation went. It was tough. It was like,
I really think it's the best thing you can do.
it's the best thing that you can
I really
do.
do. Like my mind has so much shifted in my perception of a prenup from doing it and having it so easily. Because you talk about all the time how people don't want to go and sit in front of a lawyer and, go through this whole process. You can do it from the comfort of literally your own bed.
Yeah.
But yeah, we learned a lot. We learned a lot by doing that.
Before I lose this mindset, though, I just wanted to ask you, what is the whole point then, if it's not necessarily always legally enforceable, to have an infidelity clause in a state that judges don't like it? Like, if it's in there, why wouldn't you have to enforce it?
So the why it doesn't get enforced varies really greatly state to state. But I think the more important part is like, you're getting a prenup to talk about your life goals. You're getting a prenup to align as a couple. And the goal is to never use the prenup, right? You don't want to get divorced. You want to stay married. And that's why you're having these really tough conversations from the outset. And the same as with an infidelity clause. Like, it's just one of those things you want to talk about. Just like you were saying is, with the social media clause, it helps you align on like, if something were to happen, we wouldn't do this, right? We have had couples, I've seen couples that, they wanted an infidelity clause, but they wanted to be really specific about what was in there. So an example of this is, it's not infidelity if the other person is in the room. But if they're not, it's infidelity. So they have this kind of open relationship, and that structure was described in the infidelity clause. And I think the purpose of me just explaining that story is because I just think it is so important to align whether or not you ever use that clause in the future.
Right. Okay. Yeah. No, that makes sense. Now, it seems like at the end of the day, we're going to leave Scheana alone, because it kind of seems like, thank God. Now, if Scheana would have been the one who would have had the affair and Brock was, the stay-at-home dad, and she was still the breadwinner, I guess maybe that could potentially affect the prenup differently, because it sounds like the prenup is really solely there to benefit Scheana as the breadwinner. That would
Women
make sense.
cheat more often.
Do they really?
They do. And they cheat for different reasons. It's emotional. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
this is why I'm a gay man. No,
we do all know. I mean, this is how Vanderpump Rules started.
That's okay.
Just saying.
Very true.
Actually, I didn't have this a part of the lineup, but since I used the Teresa Giudice, bringing this up, the Teresa Giudice comparison, because I'm so infatuated with like divorces and prenups. I know this sounds terrible. I'm sorry. She got married without a prenup to Louis, right? Mm-hmm. They bought a $4 million house, I believe, or $3 million house, something like that, or built it. And now it came out that she has about $300,000 in back taxes that she owes, and he has about $2.7 million, right? So he took out, as long as I have this right, let me just make sure, because I don't have these notes in front of me. I believe he took out a loan to pay off the mortgage of the house, right? He couldn't pay the loan back by March of 2025. So he got an extension for the loan till March of 2026, and they tacked on more money on it. So now you have another year to pay it, but now you owe us a lot more. If she wanted to divorce him, and there is no prenup involved, none of that, is she now responsible for his debt?
Potentially, yeah.
Why?
Yeah, absolutely. Because, again, it depends on the state, but certain states will attribute, and I have seen that in divorce cases, will attribute some of that tax debt, even though it's one party's tax debt, to the other. And it can, again, it depends on the state. It can depend on the length of marriage. I've even seen it with school debt. So student loans. I've seen
before? Like before they were married?
Someone takes out student loans. They have $200,000. They go to medical school. The other person, supports them through it. That debt can eventually be apportioned. It, is very specific to the circumstances. But the point that I'm trying to make is without a prenup, you don't know. I mean, you're really leaving it up to chance because in so many states, you're leaving it up to, whatever laws the state legislature has set, case law. And then you're leaving it up to in Massachusetts, it's a probate court judge. In any case, a family court judge who has incredible discretion over how they want to apportion the division of assets or the division of debt. And so that's why a prenup is so important, is also to protect against debt.
Okay. No, that makes sense.
It's great. Yeah.
So now if they didn't, say they did get a divorce, right? Say the debt is paid off. So she's back on the show. She's making all of this money. Yeah. He's doing really well.
Are they still married or not?
They're still married.
Okay.
But now let's say hypothetically, they're starting to have issues and they're about to get a divorce, right? Is he entitled to half of her Bravo earnings with no prenup?
Absolutely. They have no prenup. I think they're New Jersey, right?
Yeah.
So in New Jersey, it could depend on the length of the marriage, right? In states that are equitable distribution, what happens is the length of the marriage will sometimes determine what that split is, right? Whether it's 50-50 or it's not exactly like California.
Okay.
But let's say that they were married for 10, 15 years. Yeah, that split could be 50-50, even though maybe she paid off all of his debt with only her earnings. It doesn't matter. Wow. The courts aren't going to get in there and parse what you did during your marriage. So it puts her in a really vulnerable position.
You would think that she would have a prenup this time with her history.
Hasn't she been married multiple times?
No, this is the
Joe,
second.
Right?
Yeah.
This is the second.
But
the first one put her in prison.
And didn't it?
Oh, yeah.
He's deported.
Yeah, he got deported.
Yeah.
He's right
you
now.
You would think like, okay,
he's
moving forward, this time I'm getting a prenup. We'll keep things, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially when you're a public figure and you're making all this money and you have kids.
Absolutely.
And
I know she has adult kids, but like they still need support. I mean.
And I also think too, like when she came out of jail and he ended up, having to serve his 4 years or whatever it was in prison, or I believe it was 4 years or 3 years. Yeah. She paid off her restitution, his restitution. She caught up. She was hustling her ass off. She was putting out cookbooks, doing appearances. She was doing the show. She was like traveling. She was everywhere. Yeah. Like the woman was working to make sure that she not only got them out of debt, but got herself back on top. Yeah. And she did. But I think as a public figure, even if it's Bravo, because I know a lot of people and fans always like to say like a Bravo celebrity or a Bravo reality TV star is not a celebrity. It doesn't matter. You recognize them, you know them. It's your modern day celebrity.
Totally.
So I think you're a target.
They're celebrities.
I think they're celebrities.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not like, celebrities that are, actors and
you're not
winning awards, but they are celebrities that they have a celebrity. They command a certain amount. Like people love them.
Yeah. It's not like, I get it. It's not like Britney Spears, but it's like you're still noticeable.
It's not a great comparison.
Britney Spears.
Yeah, maybe not.
We can talk about that prenup.
But now going back to it, just thinking, I do think when you're a public figure or a celebrity, I feel like, you become a target for people. Yes. But now, since we're talking about this, because I'm so fascinated with what could violate a prenup or what could be included in a prenup, I want to go over to another Bravo couple that everybody's talking about right now, which would be Denise Richards and Aaron Fipers. So,
crazy.
Denise and Aaron, this one's crazy. Denise and Aaron got married, I believe they said it was either 2018 or 2022. I don't have it right in front of me, but they got married. Do I have it right in front of me? No, but 2018 or 2022. When they got married, they did not have a prenup in place. He had a medical practice for holistic ways to allegedly like help cure cancer and stuff. He was very paranoid. Even on the show, he felt like Big Pharma was trying to take him out. People were listening to him. We saw it play out on the show, right? And like the storylines.
Did you see that clip that just came out too from the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills?
Him saying, "I'll crush your fucking hand." Like
it was like caught on hot mic. She was like, "Do not say anything. Don't say anything. We're filming. Cameras are on."
He said that to Denise?
Yeah.
Yes.
She was like, it was on the mic because
so now all these hints are dropping. That we didn't see before.
Well, the ladies were trying to like, dogpile on Denise in one of the settings, and all of the men were there with their wives. And so she had Aaron there. And so they start dogpiling on her. And then Aaron was like, "We're done. We're going to walk away." So they start walking away. And he starts like turning around and yelling at them. And she's like, "Stop. The cameras are rolling." And he's like, "If you ever fucking talk to me like that, I will crush your fucking hand. Do you understand me?" And like they caught it on the mic. And she's like, "Stop. Please just get in the car." But My question is if you had a prenup in place that protected your assets and all of the things, and say Denise was the aggressor and she had this prenup, which she does not. But say she was the aggressor and she was violently like attacking him, giving him a black eye, choking him, cutting him, threatening him with weapons, and he was the breadwinner. Can that affect your prenup? Like if you can prove that there's domestic violence, can that just eliminate the prenup and make it null and void?
Generally, you can't put anything in a prenup that's against public policy. Now, you shouldn't be abusing your spouse, right? I've never seen something like an abuse provision. Would that be enforced? I don't know. What I can tell you is that what scares me is that Denise is in a relationship, another relationship, that sounds really abusive, right? Really unhealthy. And maybe she didn't want to leave earlier because she didn't have a prenup, right? She knew her assets were at stake. When your assets are at stake, and she clearly was the earner in the relationship and had built up wealth over time, it causes you to think a little bit harder about leaving, right? And so if she had a prenup, I just think maybe she would have made this decision earlier. Maybe she would have felt more confident about moving on without him and getting divorced. But now she's in this position where it's becoming very public.
Which is wild because she's the one, and by the way, this came out this morning, like while we're taping this. So I don't know when we're posting it, but today. He came out and said, all of these accusations are false. She's wild. I don't even know why she's saying these things. Like, it's absolutely asinine. This woman is mental. He's like, I didn't do any of this to her. I don't know why she's saying this stuff. These are two very, totally different stories. Like, she's giving details saying, you choked me, you slammed my head against a towel rack, you blackened my eye. She's posting photos, all of these things. And he's like, this woman is crazy. And now I'm sort of starting to wonder, and this just clicked, he's asking for over $100,000 a month in alimony, spousal support.
Crazy.
And he's claiming that she makes over $250,000 from TV deals, sponsorships, brand ambassador programs, and also OnlyFans, of course. So now he wants a piece of the pie.
Yeah.
Do you think this is like a clever ploy to kind of be like, I didn't put my hands on her. She's just trying to make it look like, like I don't deserve the alimony.
Absolutely.
Could
He's
it affect
asking
the
her
alimony?
for alimony.
Right.
Like, what are you doing? He had his own practice. Go back to your own practice. Why are you treating Denise like your meal ticket? And here's the thing. If she had a prenup, she could have had a spousal support waiver in the prenup. And basically that says you can't go for spousal support later. That would have made total sense, especially because she's always been the earner. So I just don't understand, if you take it back to basics, I just don't understand why she, as Denise Richards, did not have a prenup. Like, where were your advisors around you when you were getting married?
Well, she said it was good sex. She said good sex.
That doesn't mean you don't get a prenup. So what's the one thing that you've heard that I'm just going off here. Yeah. What is the one thing that you've heard from women who have gotten a divorce? What is the one main reason for them not to get a prenup that you have heard?
I think the most common reason is it just didn't feel romantic. It felt almost weird for me to put into question the relationship before we even got married, that I just decided not to do it. I mean, women have such a hard time advocating for themselves, especially when it comes to prenups. And I think it's so unfortunate. I think it's just so sad. I would never get remarried without a prenup. It just wouldn't happen.
Do you think, I mean, this is kind of how I think, but I feel like a lot of people in relationships and marriages, I feel like before they get to the marriage process and they start having conversations about prenups or concerns or whatever, I feel like they get gaslit, and they also, the conversations become abusive, whether it's emotionally or mentally. And it's like, really? How could you? And who do you think you are? A prenup, it just gets very aggressive. And then you're taking what's supposed to be such a wonderful time and you're turning it into this, I don't even know you. You want a prenup? Who the f*** are you? And it's so easy to make somebody feel this big, feel like shit about wanting a prenup.
And I think especially if those elements of control, emotional, financial abuse existed before they were engaged, and then they're talking about a prenup, and that abuser will weaponize that, right? As a
Right.
way to kind of belittle the other person.
Right.
And so that to me is a red flag. I mean, there's so many red flags there. Maybe you shouldn't be marrying that person, right? A prenup should be a conversation. It should be collaborative. And that's one of the reasons HelloPrenup is two-party. I don't want to be plugging HelloPrenup right now.
No,
but
plug away.
Plug away.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's not my intent in saying this.
Mezcalum, hello, prenup.
That's why I think it's so important for both parties to be aligned on the process, because you should both be participating. This is not a one-sided document. This is for both of you. This is a conversation. And yeah, so I think if you're in Denise's position and like he just wouldn't sign it in the beginning, the sex is not worth it. I'm sorry.
No, not $100,000 a month.
I wonder if there's like a
Yeah, that's expensive.
I
What
wonder
does he have downstairs that we don't know about?
well, she said
She talked about it.
she said it was
God.
a ham hock, I guess. I don't know. Anyways, you know what? It would be so fun, by the way. Like, if you guys, I don't even know why I don't know this, but do you have an app for Hello Prenup?
We don't have an app.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just thinking, wouldn't it be so fun? Like, you know how people play like little games of how well do you know each other and stuff?
Yes.
Like little Hello Prenup, like before, I know that you guys have like a questionnaire and stuff, but like
Yeah.
a fun little game of like, what do you think I would want? What do you think that you would want? And see how like close people are, but just like an
Totally.
interactive, you
Yes.
know, making it fun to where it like takes the edge off, or maybe that
Yes.
could start a fight.
But I
don't
do
know.
have to say, it already does take the edge off. I mean, we talked about that on your podcast too. It's you don't have to go sit in front of a lawyer. You don't have to make it so, I think you said transactional. It's more like, okay, I can sit alone and do this on my computer in the comfort of my own home, in my bed, send it over to my partner. They can go through it, and then we can decide on something. It's so easy.
Collaborative.
It's collaborative, yeah.
I swear to God, if Denise Richards goes through this divorce and she like re-entertains that alleged affair with Brandy Glanville, and she's like, maybe I want to be a lesbian and I'm going to marry Brandy. We're taking a trip and we are making her.
She's getting a Hello
prenup.
Prenup.
Yeah,
right
she
now.
is
She's
getting
getting a Hello Prenup.
Okay, so now going on to the next couple that I wanted to talk to you about. Jax Taylor and Britney right now are super heavy in the news because clearly we know that they're going through a divorce. And everything that he's saying on TV is just wild to me. But also, I think that if you ever watch the Kardashians, like Kris Jenner says that they have the best home videos ever, right? But I think that when you're in an abusive relationship, I think being on reality TV is the best documented evidence ever, you know? Like you don't need to whip out your phone and record something. You could just be like, roll the tape, episode 2,
Yeah.
season 2, you know?
Yeah.
And on the show, we see mental, emotional, physical abuse. We hear about bruises, things being thrown. We hear about tapping into cameras and breach of like privacy. We hear about the rage text. Then Jax went, I think he said 6 years without paying his taxes, right? So they had a $7,000 mortgage that became an $18,000 mortgage. Now she has to assume responsibility for that mortgage. Well, in the latest episode, they end up getting into a fight because she's taking over the mortgage. She makes more money. She signed a $2 million deal with Jenny Craig, and she has the show money, and she apparently can afford it. But he said, what do you want from me? She said, I just want help. I don't want anything from you. I want help. We have a son who has autism. I want help with his medical, and I want you to pay for half. And he's like, well, if I'm paying for half, that's bullshit. So then I want alimony. So you need to pay me because you're making more money than me.
Which doesn't make sense.
Which
We're just
doesn't,
canceling it out.
but
he
he doesn't make sense. But like in her situation right now, she is fighting to not have to pay this mortgage at such a high, number because of his taxes that he was negligent on.
Why is she absorbing the taxes?
Because for some reason the taxes got rolled into the mortgage.
Okay, so they were like property taxes, I'm assuming.
Yeah,
Was
they
it his
must have
house? Was it his house
No,
before?
they weren't property taxes.
Huh.
How does
It was.
that get ruled into
I don't know. This is their story on the show. I don't know. She said that he didn't pay it for 6 years, or
Like
he didn't.
income tax?
I think he didn't pay taxes on his show money, is what he was saying.
I
For,
thought it was
Vanderpump
just the
Rules.
house, if I wasn't mistaken.
No, it wasn't the
No?
property tax. No, Somehow it got, maybe you broker a deal or something. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not sure. But my question is what could she have done to eliminate these ridiculous conversations with somebody who is truly like such a narcissistic douchebag? Like somebody who's going to be like, you, like 1 minute, like, I'm sorry, I love you, I want my family together. But then the next, like, you, I'm getting you for alimony, I'm taking you for this, you can pay the house, you can pay the mortgage, and I'm not giving you shit. Like somebody who comes at you so aggressively, what could she have done different? What would HelloPrenup have done for her?
Yeah.
Is my question.
First of all, Jax was always kind of a wild card. So she kind of knew what she was getting into.
Such a great way.
I would have stayed at Hooters, Brittany. I would have stayed at Hooters.
Yeah. I mean, and I think that when we're talking about the prenup, do they not have a prenup?
No.
Okay.
No.
So what she could have done is kept all of her earnings separate. So again, everything that was premarital or anything that she earned separately during the course of the marriage would be separate property. And if they bought that house together, they could decide in the prenup what that would look like in the event of divorce. So if she put in $200,000 and he put in $200,000, then let's say they split the appreciation equally, she gets to buy him out. Pretty easy. In that case, it would also mean that she doesn't absorb any of his separate debt. So like income tax debt, that would be separate in a prenup. I mean, that debt would remain separate. So I'm not really sure why that's being absorbed. I can't figure that part out. But with respect to the child that they have together, you cannot put anything in a prenup that has to do with child custody or child support. Generally. New York is slightly different, where if the child is born before the marriage, you can to an extent. But in California and the vast majority of states, you cannot. So she could have waived alimony, which would eliminate his argument as to why he needs alimony. The real question that I have is if she's the primary caretaker for the child, then child support is typically based off of the amount of time you spend with the child. So you get into this interesting space where there's only so much that she could protect when it comes to support. If she's making $2 million a year and he's making $0, she's going to be paying him child support if he has 50% of the time with the parenting time with his child. But what she could have avoided is his argument as to why he should be allocated some type of spousal support, maintenance, or alimony.
So with him wanting alimony now,
yes,
say there was a prenup involved, right? And that prenup waived spousal support on both ends.
Yes.
Okay. Now, he just got, let me word this correctly.
Yeah.
He exited the valley. He exited the valley.
Or was told to, maybe.
Whatever.
We don't know.
I mean, I think we can all understand that nobody
The same
walks
way
away
he
from
Due
a
to
house.
his behavior.
The same way he exited from Vanderpump Rules, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So he exited.
He's the worst enemy.
Which,
Seriously.
Bravo, NBC, they did him a favor, I think.
Yeah.
But I think that he exited and they gave him room, like, do some growth, and maybe we won't say that we fired you.
Yeah.
But what I'm trying to get to is, like, now that they're navigating a divorce, if, in fact, they would have had the spousal support clause in there, like you waive your rights to spousal support, and he got fired on the show, they were going through a divorce, and she's making $2 million, and now he went from making $1 million to $0.
Yeah.
Would a judge look at that any differently now that he has no income? Would the judge be like, yes, I see in the prenup that you waived your right to spousal support, both of you, but like now he doesn't have a job and he's used to this lifestyle. I'm sorry, Miss Brittany Cartwright, but like you need to pay alimony.
There could be temporary alimony. Typically, spousal support waivers in prenups are upheld, right? Because I assume he has some other assets, right? He's made a lot of money over the years. So typically when a judge is looking at a prenup and evaluating whether or not to uphold a spousal support waiver, they will look at the income of the parties, but it's not necessarily just the income at the time, right? So they'll look at the earning capacity. Now, this gets a little funky when you're dealing with people who are TV stars, right? Because he got fired from Bravo. Will they rehire him? We don't know. But there are plenty of other opportunities and ways for him to make money. And so it's really unlikely that a judge would just completely wipe out the spousal support provision based on the fact purely that he just got fired, because he does have earning capacity. He probably does have other money or other investments somewhere that, you know, it's not like he's going to be on the street.
Right.
A judge will wipe out a spousal support provision or even a prenup if it's against public policy, meaning one person would end up on some type of public assistance if that prenup was upheld, which I don't think is the case with Jax and Britney.
So if Jason and I, since we have a prenup,
Yes.
if we
With
got
HelloPrenup.
You have a great prenup.
did you look at our prenup?
No.
Oh,
Oh my God.
Oh,
I
okay.
would love for you to look
No.
at it.
It's like,
That's
I don't
like
have
a whole nother
access to
episode.
do that, but
I was like, wow.
no, I would not do that.
So if Jason and I got a divorce
Yeah.
and he couldn't make any money, and let's say like now all of a sudden he's at home, he's not able to go out and work and do things. And I'm like, sorry, dude, you signed that I get 100% of the company and I don't have to pay you shit.
Yeah.
Like the judge could look at me and be like, your prenup doesn't exist anymore because this man, we are not putting him on public assistance. You owe him some money.
It's very unlikely. I
Okay.
mean, that happens in situations where you have like a 25-year marriage and the prenup dictates that all of the assets go to one party. And throughout the course of that marriage, all of those assets belong to that earner, right? The spouse that is the primary breadwinner. And then you have like a stay-at-home mom. She's been a stay-at-home mom for like 25 years, right? She has no earning capacity. She's never had a career. And basically she's going to be on the street because of this prenup. That is where that scenario is more likely.
Right.
In the case where, I mean, that you just described, and I don't want to talk about you two specifically,
no.
but in that case, I mean, a judge is not going to wipe out a prenup for that. And even if a judge does invalidate a certain provision, like a spousal support waiver, there's something called a severability clause in a prenup. And we have those in all of our prenups. And the reason we do that is it basically says if one of these clauses is deemed invalid, the rest stand. So you never have to worry about that.
Wow.
Oh, okay. My next question is, and I'm going to pop around like different Bravo couples, but Portia Williams was only married for like, I think like a year.
Yeah.
Like not that long to Simon Gobadia. And she was awarded 14 months of $40,000 a month in alimony, right? And then she got a Rolls Royce and a house and other shit. But the $40,000 a month, he was deported for the third time. Okay?
How do
So-
you get deported?
How do you get
I-
deported 3 times?
I ask
This
this
is-
all the time.
we
I'm
still
like,
don't know.
You're good at getting back in.
How
or
do your
something. I don't
taxes
know.
how do your taxes roll into your mortgage? We don't know. This
don't
is
know
why
these
these people are on
things.
TV.
So
This is
confused.
why we need Bravo.
Yeah, this is why we need Bravo. But he was deported. He's been deported now 3 times, and it was actually ICE who brought him to the divorce like hearing. ICE
Wow.
brought
Wait,
him.
what the hell?
Yeah, ICE brought Simon Gobadia to the divorce hearing. So now that they sent him to Dubai, which he had a choice, Dubai or Nigeria, because he has dual citizenship.
Okay.
Now that they sent him to Dubai, and he is supposed to be paying this $40,000 a month in spousal support, what if he says, well, who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Like, I'm already kicked out of the country.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
like
who
this is the third
enforces
time.
that?
Yeah.
Like
who
that-
Yeah.
How does that work?
It depends. It depends on the country, whether or not they have an agreement with the United States. I've seen it in child custody and support cases, specifically where people will take a child out of the country without permission from the other parent. How do you get the child back into the country? That parent doesn't want to do that. So it really depends on the where. And with the UAE, I'm not entirely sure what the agreement is, but yeah, I mean, if it were Europe or Canada, it'd probably be a lot easier to enforce.
Okay, so then I guess my next question is, and this one's not a prenup situation, but listen, your background is being a divorce attorney,
Yes.
right? So if he wanted any chance of coming back to the United States, because he tweets or X's Donald Trump every single day asking him to pardon him, if he wanted a chance to come back to the U.S.,
Yeah.
would he have to be paying this and be in good standing before they would even, like, he can't come
Yeah.
back and then be like, dude, you're 11 months behind on $40,000 a month alimony. Like, what? No, we're not letting you in. Is that how they would look at it?
Yeah. So I don't know how the immigration, I mean, I don't think those two things necessarily communicate.
Okay.
I'm not an immigration attorney, so perhaps they do. But what I do know is that he could end up in some trouble if it was like child support, right? He could end up in trouble with the Department of Revenue of that state. which could then become an issue if he comes back in the country. And with alimony, I mean, something could be filed and then this could trigger a process. It depends on the state and how that state works. But does it directly correlate with immigration and whatever ICE procedures exist? I have no idea.
Doesn't it just blow your mind that he's asking for a pardon and being deported 3 times already at this point?
I mean, but between him and Joe
crazy?
Giudice, though, like him and Joe Giudice, every time I open my computer or my phone, both of them are like messaging, please. Like it's like you
And
would
they think Donald Trump's going to respond to them? Is that?
I think that they think like, hey, listen, he did it for the Grizzlies, so maybe
he
he would do
did?
it for So he pardoned the Grizzlies.
I did not know that.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. They had a combined sentence of 19 years. They served 2, and he just did a presidential pardon two months ago.
Yeah.
2 months ago. And so that was one of the first things that, he was kind of like jumping in
Wild.
on.
Oh.
Well, now everyone's asking for a pardon.
Now every Bravo person is asking for a pardon. But okay, so since I'm hopping around, my next question is in the state of Virginia, Ashley Darby was getting a divorce, or still is, or maybe she finalized it, from Michael Darby. They had a prenup that said she doesn't get anything unless she lasts in the marriage for 10 years.
Yes.
Right?
Okay.
So then,
So that's a stipulation you can put in,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You
Right?
can put like anything in.
Lump
really.
sum clauses. You can say that, if we're married for between 5 years and 10 years, you get X amount payout. If we get divorced, you can get pretty creative.
So
Yes.
you can say in the prenup, like, if our marriage lasts 10 years, this prenup no longer is
That's a
valid.
sunset clause. That's a little bit different.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they had something in their prenup that said, well, after 10 years that, like everything is now between the two of us. And then
Yes.
she caught him cheating. And he said, well, I'm going to either divorce you before the 10-year mark or you're going to sign a postnup.
Mm-hmm.
So then she ended up signing a postnup and it prolonged it. And now they're getting a divorce, and she was all over social media, and she's like, I got the money in the bag coming, and she was really boasting about it. She was playing music, like posting the lyrics. She was dancing around, throwing money on top of herself, like just being really silly about it, only to find out, no, it's not what she thought. She didn't get half of what she thought. And
Did she not read the postnup?
Probably not.
She was the one who wrote the postnup. So I'm wondering, like, in a situation like that,
Yeah.
they made them wait a year in DC. They were like, okay, if you guys want to get a divorce, you need to wait 1 year and
Yeah.
be separated, and then we will go
Some
through with your
states have a
divorce.
waiting period.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
So a waiting period. And she really thought, like, I'm going to be living on my own. I'm going to be back to being single, and I'm going to, get the bag.
Mm.
And then it all backfired. In your mind, without us having the information, because it's not public, what could have happened there?
Well, number one, a sunset clause can be dangerous. I think they're great in certain circumstances, but I think they can also be dangerous because someone could wait until that 10th year mark when they know the prenup expires,
It's so much work.
and they just wait like 1 day later, and then they get divorced, and then they get 50% of everything. In this instance, right, they had a postnup, so they never got to the point where the sunset clause was in effect. But I just don't understand why she didn't understand what was in the postnup. I mean, it's pretty clear. A postnup is very, clearly laid out. All of the assets are required. When you get a prenup or a postnup, there needs to be full financial disclosure in the vast majority of states. Postnups are more scrutinized than prenups. So she would have known what the financials looked like, and she would have known how things would be divided based off of what was contained in that document. So
Now I'm going to bounce back over again to Beverly Hills because since you're mentioning a sunset clause, Dorit Kemsley and PK on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
My God, there are so many.
I know.
Like,
There's-
I feel like we went through this list before we started today, and there was like 5, and then now.
well, I only picked 4 or 5.
No,
but
I know, but the list is. It's
I
endless.
know, but
Many.
each one has
It's
a different.
endless.
One has
know.
abuse.
Is it
one
the
has
curse of reality TV?
well, one has abuse. One
I
has
think
like
it might be.
I think so
you-
too.
Yeah.
like infidelity, abuse, like sugar baby, all kinds of shit. So with Dorit and PK in the state of California, Erica Jane was the one who said this, but in the state of California, after 10 years, everything is community property. So if you, right? It's
No.
50-50.
It's a 50-50 state, isn't it?
That's
yeah.
what
So what
she
happens
said.
is in California, it's a community property state.
Okay.
So what happens is everything premarital remains premarital generally. There's some exceptions, right? And then anything that is earned during the marriage is community, again, generally. I don't know anything about a 10-year mark. I don't know what she's referring to, but no.
Well, it's also coming from Erica Jane. You just said Erica Jane said.
Well, she was the one who said.
She was married to a lawyer.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
She was like,
It's a very valid point.
she was like, oh yeah, a great one. She was like, she said to Dorit, babe, if he divorces you before the 10-year mark, then like you don't get anything. But if it lasts at least 10 years, then you get half of everything.
If there was a prenup that specified that everything remains separate until you get to that 10-year mark, which would be like a sunset clause, for example, that would make sense. But if they didn't have a prenup, again, I feel like they do. Dorit.
I thought they did.
I'm not.
I think that's what Erica was referring to.
Yeah, I feel like they probably did. Because if they didn't have a prenup, then anything he earned during the marriage would be 50-50 because it's community property state.
But the 10-year mark just reminded me of the sunset clause, kind of.
They may have had a prenup and had a sunset clause in the prenup.
Yeah. Okay.
God, there is so many things you can do with a prenup.
Well, and that's
that I don't think I really understood until we started to do it,
As the CEO and founder of
Yes.
HelloPrenup.com, are you at all happy for Kyle Richards that she did not, in fact, get a prenup with Mauricio Umansky?
That is a great question.
This is a great question. I am happy for Kyle.
Okay.
Are they officially getting divorced?
Well, no, they're separated.
They're
but
separated.
He has a girlfriend. I
Yeah.
think she has a girlfriend. We don't know what she has. Like,
I know that
Yeah,
whole thing. I was like,
knows
good
at
for
this
you,
point.
Kyle. Like,
Yeah.
live your best life.
live your best life.
I think she's amazing.
Yeah.
If they did not have a prenup, she gets 50% of everything. So what that means is like 50% of his interest in his companies, which I understand are worth a lot. And of course, 50% of all of their marital assets. I think that it makes total sense to me. They were married for so long. She helped him build every single one of those businesses.
Absolutely.
And she deserves all of that. Now, if they had a prenup, what I would say is that the prenup could have maybe allocated her more, right? Because she is not the earner. So what's going to happen if they do get divorced is she's going to get that split of assets. And that might be it. Like maybe she'll get alimony, and I'm sure he makes a lot of money, so that could be great for her. But ultimately, she doesn't really have, outside of the Housewives, her own earning capacity the way that Mauricio does. So she could have perhaps allocated herself more, actually, in that prenup. Or
Interesting.
if she had a prenup, add in a sunset clause whereby 25 years passes and it's all marital anyway. She would have been in the same spot.
So with no prenup, though, even if she was there with him and helped him, like she was supporting him while he started the agency,
Yeah.
and also the agency being featured on her show, Real Housewives of
Yeah.
Beverly Hills, and how it kind of helped skyrocket.
Yes.
That
and
did help boost. Yeah.
Oh, big
Would she not be
time.
entitled to 50% of his part of the company?
No, without a
Yes?
prenup, she is entitled to that.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's what I was-
and I think she should be. I mean, the reasoning is really important, right? Because you look at this woman who, I mean, she in so many ways made him famous, right?
Right.
She deserves 50% of whatever that looks like.
Yeah.
The flip side is he also gets 50% of hers, right? So I don't know what she makes from the show. I don't know what she makes from endorsement deals, but I'm assuming it's really pretty
Oh, it's
significant.
got to be by now,
No,
right?
and I
Her
think that-
paycheck on the show has to be
Oh, it's
ridiculous.
It's like 1 point something. Yeah, but he's doing billions.
Well, I know.
And so-
I know.
I
There's
think
an
his
agency
income is a
everywhere now.
different,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
also too, like, no, that's so interesting to me. Okay, so we're proud of you, Kyle. Okay.
We're proud of you, Kyle.
Yeah, we're
proud of
we
you,
love
Kyle.
you, Kyle.
Can you, because she gets so much hate. Sorry, I'm just like interjecting here. 'cause
No,
I,
my
I
God.
want to pick Julia's brain
Yeah.
about Housewives too. I have some questions for you at the end too. Like you
Yeah.
did on on your podcast when we were on. I have
Like
some
rapid
Bravo.
fire?
Yes, I
Yeah.
have.
Oh.
I'm like
I
thinking
love
in my head.
it.
I'm like, cannot wait to pick your brain. Because there are some seasons
Yeah.
where I'm like, okay, I don't, whatever. I just can't imagine her not on the show. And so many people are like, get rid of Kyle. She has no storyline. But I feel like she's like the mascot of Beverly Hills at this point. You know what I mean?
I love Kyle. And I think she is like such an empathetic character. I mean, she's always the friend to everybody. I mean, she's so reasonable, I think is
Yeah.
what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
To me, she comes off as like the reasonable person.
Well, and people thought though,
not
to be
Kim.
fair, people thought Atlanta wouldn't exist without Nene. People thought Beverly Hills wouldn't exist without Lisa. People thought New York wouldn't exist without Bethany. It's kind of like a reminder. It doesn't matter who you are. You're never bigger than the show.
That is true.
Too.
True.
That is true.
All right. So before we end up wrapping this up, my last celebrity couple that I want to mention to you is Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez.
Yes.
Okay. So when he started Amazon with his ex-wife and Mackenzie, and they ended up getting a divorce, she got 30 plus billion.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Making her the world's second richest woman or something like that.
Good for her.
Oh my God.
I mean, amazing.
Amazing.
Now he's with Lauren Sanchez.
Yes.
Do you know anything about their prenup?
I don't know anything about their prenup other than that they have one.
Okay.
And rightfully so. I think a lot of people look at his divorce from Mackenzie and say, like, well, that's why he got a prenup. Mackenzie helped him build Amazon. Okay. So even if they had a prenup, I would hope that she would get some type of fair settlement in the divorce because she really was there from day zero, right?
Yeah. And before he had a glow up, come on.
I mean,
Did you see it like before and after? I'm like,
yes. It goes back to that, like, you're not ugly, you're just poor thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that the prenup that he has with Lauren Sanchez probably just keeps everything separate, but allocates her, I think if I read properly, it allocates her a certain amount of assets and income and all of these things that she has her own property. I mean, she wasn't poor before either. I think she was worth like $15-20 million before they got married. So she also has something to protect.
No, she has her own money for sure. But the in the prenup, it talks about how she gets nothing from, like, no Amazon shares, Blue Origin, no equity in that, real estate. Any of his real estate doesn't belong to her. All of his IP, any of his luxury assets, his separate property.
Yep.
And that also includes any gains during the marriage.
Yes. So any appreciation on that property, which is what I was talking about before, makes total sense to me. When you have a company like Amazon, that stock is going to appreciate, you wouldn't want her to have 50% of that. Wouldn't make sense.
Yeah.
Okay. No, that makes sense. And then what else was said was for every 1 year that she stays married to him, apparently this is what people are saying, but for every 1 year that she stays married to him, that she gets $1 million.
Yeah.
Which is kind of like the Britney Spears, Sam Asghari situation.
Yeah.
You got $1 million for each year.
Yeah, that is, I mean, pretty common in varying forms, right? Especially when one party is so high income, high asset versus the other. I think it leads to the question is, like, what is the motivation for staying in a relationship an extra year when you have something like that in there? So you really have to, it's based on trust too, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought their wedding was ridiculous, though, and I've been very vocal about that. I thought it was over the top. I was like, is this even about the marriage or is this about the show?
They're like, no, this is about the show.
Yeah, it was about the show.
Oh, absolutely.
So it was just a big celebrity crock pot
and
of just...
circumstance.
I'm like, are you friends with all these people? Let's be honest.
No, and if you watch them
Is
too...
Kim really your good friend?
No, you watch the paparazzi photos. Remember, I just showed you the video?
Yes,
you see like Katy Perry and like Oprah and everybody walk out of the car and you see Kim because Kim always has to go last. And like they have to walk one by one so you get all the shots in, you know? But okay. Yeah. So we'll leave Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez alone. But before we end up getting off of here, I do have a few questions.
Okay.
Like I'm going to throw them at you.
I love it. Let's
Same.
go.
You do one, I do one.
I'm excited.
You wanna
I'm
start?
so ready.
Yes, it's Bravo related.
Yeah, it's all going to be Bravo.
Okay,
Bravo.
Good.
We're testing your Bravo knowledge.
Oh,
I'm not testing knowledge.
okay.
I want your opinion. If you could join any Real Housewife franchise from any city, which one would you join?
New York, hands down.
In its current state?
Or the old
Even in its current state. I mean, I think the old, the OGs, absolutely. But I wouldn't fit in with the OGs. I think in its current state, I absolutely would. I love it.
There is so much, like there's such a foundation there right now. I wish they could get it together because they really do have good people on the show, And this is what people asked for too when they wanted to do a reboot. They said, we want a younger representation of New York, who represents different boroughs, kind of diversify the cast a little bit. And that's exactly what they did. And all of a sudden it's not working,
I know. And why isn't it working?
Because they weren't real friends. That's the whole reason that Vanderpump Rules lasted 11 seasons. There were real dynamics, real relationships. And
yes, Adam.
That's,
that's the chemistry.
Yeah, the chemistry
matters.
Okay, so we don't have enough space on the network anymore. We have to cut one Real Housewives franchise. Who are you cutting?
I want to say Orange County, but I might say Atlanta. Is Atlanta even on anymore?
Okay.
Atlanta, yeah.
Did they? I don't watch it.
No. Atlanta's still on.
I just don't watch it.
You know, that was my first Housewife show.
I know.
I loved Nene. Like,
yeah,
she was
so did
my
I.
favorite.
It just kind of like took a dip a little bit, you know? And this season was supposed to be such a redemption. I think I get kind of a little better towards the end, you know? But yeah.
Yeah, I just can't get into it.
No.
I wonder if it's seen its day. How did they save the show?
If you could give any, and I actually like this from your podcast earlier, if you could give any Bravo celebrity a spinoff, it doesn't matter if it's for a bar or for anything, who would it be?
Oh my God, I have the answer. And it wouldn't happen. Bethany.
Oh, for what?
I love Bethany. I just think she is such a businesswoman. She has such a social presence. She's one of the few who has built an entire empire off of the Housewives franchise. And I would just love to like see her daily life, see her like, I mean, she's in such a different life stage now than she was when she was on the show. So like, I just think that would be so interesting and inspirational for a lot of women.
And I love shows like that. I know she tried that show where she was looking for an assistant.
Yeah, that was fake.
You know, and it's very produced. It's very fake.
Yeah.
It's like, obviously, where is that person? Not working for her, you know?
Yeah.
But to me, that's what's so interesting and kind of why I liked when Beverly Hills first started, you know, with Adrienne Maloof and Lisa Vanderpump. They all had things going on, you know, and you just wanted to watch their lives. She would be very interesting. Okay, I have a quick question before it's my last question.
Okay, and then I get one more and then that's it.
If you could bring any show back that is not on Bravo anymore, any show. Because, I mean, you think about, like, back in the day, we had, like, do you remember Workout with Jackie Warner or the Rachel Zoe Project?
Oh.
That was good.
Millionaire Matchmaker.
Oh, my God.
The real Bravo shows.
Jeff Lewis.
Yes.
Flipping out.
I saw Jeff Lewis in LA and I was so starstruck. I loved that show. Oh, my God. Maybe Millionaire Matchmaker.
Oh, yeah.
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 Yeah, and I think it's really relevant today because dating has changed so much, and like Patty Stanger's, I mean, she's an icon. But even if you were to do that show with any matchmaker, I think it would be very different than it was when it first came out because you have online dating because we live in, you know, this internet world. So I would love
Everybody's
that.
on an app.
It would actually be fun to have somebody
You know?
who would be like her, like same like kind of Abby Lee Miller,
Yes.
dance moms, like aggressive,
Yes.
but like with the like complete opposite beliefs. Like you can have sex before monogamy. You could do, you know what I mean? Like did it in a different way, but also like an aggressive matchmaker. Okay.
Yes.
Last but not least, before we end up letting you go, who is one, aside from Bethany, because we can't use her, who is one person that you would bring back to the Bravo-verse that is not around right now, if you could?
Okay.
Even
On
if
a
they're
specific show?
even if they're just in general,
anyone?
Like
they
anyone?
might be in a lawsuit with NBC. They might it doesn't
Yeah.
matter. Maybe they got fired. Maybe they got canceled. I don't know. But like, is there one
Not Leah
person?
McSweeney.
No, nobody's bringing her back to
No.
anything.
I did love Adrienne Maloof.
Oh,
I mean, such an OG. I loved her because she felt really authentic. Like the life that she was showing was really the life that she lives.
Do you really believe that she was trying to wash the chicken with soap when she was cooking with Lisa
Probably. Have you
Vanderpump?
met these people?
Kind
some
of,
these people?
yeah, because do you think she cooks ever? No,
No.
she's a chef for that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just thought she was really authentic. And then Lisa Vanderpump, I mean, she is incredible. I loved her. And yeah, it was really sad to see her leave. So
Wait, but last question.
Yeah.
If you had to, like, they're doing the reboot Vanderpump Rules, but they're doing it again at SUR. Do you think that was a mistake? Like, should they have kept it at SUR or should they have changed it up and went to one of her Vegas locations?
oh, I would say Vegas location. I loved when she did the show recently and it was like some chateau in France.
Yeah.
I thought that was great. Like
Vanderpump
switch it
Villa.
up. Yes.
Yeah.
Switch it up, have totally a different cast maybe or a few new cast members and yeah.
That's
location
another
matters.
person, you know, so she and I don't mean to like keep this over, but she designs with Nick Lane for her places. I would just love to see the thought and the brainstorming that goes into that to design a
Yes.
restaurant. She should implement that in like Vanderpump Villa because they do go into these villas and they kind of redo it and
She kind of
decorate
stepped
it.
into that a little bit with Gordon Ramsay, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. But,
I love her.
well, Julia, you don't have to go home, but you have to get out of our studio. No, I'm just kidding. No, seriously, this has been so much fun.
Thank
I
you.
cannot wait to share the podcast that we did with you. And honestly, it was an honor for you to even invite us in to do this
Thank
and to
you.
meet you.
Yes.
Again, I know I introduced you as like founder and CEO of HelloPrenup.com, but like my favorite label for you is just you're such a badass boss.
Thank
So
you.
this conversation has been great. We appreciate you. And I feel like I learned a lot. And honestly, until you pointed it out, I didn't realize how many people have these fucked up marriages and like need prenups.
Or don't think about getting one.
Or that
You
are
know,
getting
that's like
divorced
the
right
other
now on
thing.
our
Who
TVs.
clearly need one.
Especially when you're a public figure. And especially if you're Teresa, when you've been through this shit before.
Yeah.
And then we're back in the same situation almost.
I
It's
didn't
like-
realize how many people put their hand on the stove twice, I guess, is what
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for having me. This was too much fun.
Julia,
I can't
we
wait to
love
do it
you.
again.
We
So,
love
Thank you. Thank
hopefully
you for
soon.
bringing us to New York too.
Thank you.
We're so happy to be here.
And also thank you to Abe and Aaron Leachy for keeping us occupied with Mezcaloom. So guys, if you haven't already, make sure you let us know where you're watching in the comments. And don't forget to smash the like button, get subscribed, and definitely check out, whether it's you, a friend, a family member, I don't even care. Just go to HelloPrenup.com, do the questionnaire, get yourself familiar, educate yourself. But if you want to talk about or think about like a friendly process for doing this, a non-invasive process, it's not even a joke. Just go check it out. I'm not going to pitch it to you. You'll figure it out for yourself, but you're going to have so much fun doing it. So with that, we'll see you guys later. Yeah. Bye, guys. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.